There we go. Okay, so welcome to Somatic Meditation for November 20th or 21st. And we will start, as always, with centering and grounding. And then I have a talk prepared. And then I'll let you introduce yourselves. And then we will we'll do some meditation together as well. So let's start by feeling our connection with the earth. We just, before we were pressed record, we were talking about how easy it is to get pulled up and out. So the earth is always here. We're always connected, but we forget about our connection. It's easy to come up and out. So let's remember that we can come down and in at any time. Feel the parts of our body that are connected to the earth and open to the qualities of the earth. Just notice what they are for you right now. It's kind of a fluid and dynamic relationship. There are certain qualities to the earth, but the way we experience them are somewhat fluid and dynamic. Maybe it feels still and calm, supportive and open, dark and vast, deep and welcoming. And out of that supportive relationship with the earth, just notice how there's a buoyancy that comes into your spine that welcomes the lengthening in your spine all the way up through the back of your head as your ears draw back over your shoulders. It's a slight tuck in your chin and opening through the back of your neck. Your elbows drop underneath your shoulders, tongue floats in your mouth. And this posture of your meditation invites you to open into your body, where you'll feel probably a sense of spaciousness and openness, a sense of embodiment. And of course, as always, there'll be some places of tension, holding and gripping. And also this posture, this embodiment allows you to open to your breath coming into your lower belly. And then notice the phrases of our mantra and how they land for you. Remembering that I am intrinsically good without exception. And that I have been given this precious opportunity of my unique life. I find ways to engage in daily practice in my everyday life. When I open to the vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability of the earth, that stillness, vastness, silence, peace, and stability opens into my body and being. Remembering that my heart is open, tender, and responsive. I enter into relationships as part of my daily life. Okay, and then you can transition to our beautiful little circle here. So we are still focusing on our relationship to our back this month. And, you know, our back is the gateway to opening to the earth. And there's a little rumbling about this in our community of maybe a week ago. I can't kind of recall how long ago it was now, but when I was reflecting on what I wanted to talk about today, I've been thinking about earth descent for my own practice. I'm feeling a lot of connection to that practice because it's with with earth descent that we create the stability for our practice. You know, when we feel this pulling that we were talking about before we press record, this feeling of being pulled up and out in our lives, and that energy of being pulled up and out and around us, it's a pretty good indication that we need to come down and in, and that we can create more stability in our lives and in our practice. And earth descent is just such a beautiful way to do that, and a beautiful practice to incorporate into our lives, so that there's more stability. And it's a practice that has been absolutely life-changing for me. And there's a few things that I want to talk about with it. One is that these practices are practices that develop slowly over time. I know I'm a broken record like this, but it's useful to hear it. It's not like the metaphor that I used this morning was that you don't go out and just do a marathon. And it's the same with earth descent. You develop that relationship, that really strong, wide and deep foundation, slowly, very slowly over time by practicing it often. And then that's how you create that stability that allows you to handle all the up and out in our life. And also, so I wanted to say that. And the other thing that I wanted to say was that one of the things that I want to focus on as we move forward in our community, or one of the things I want to start talking about more, is that our relationship to earth descent practice is something that we can think about carrying with us off the mat as well. You know, it's not, if we show up on the mat and expect everything to happen in that hour or 20 minutes or 30 minutes that we do the practice, and then just get up and carry on with our lives, then nothing is fundamentally shifting. So if we bring all that neurosis and all that anxiety and all that frustration, which we absolutely do, to the mat, then it is very difficult to open to the earth. But if we start to make a commitment in our lives to bring the qualities of the earth with us, like the stillness, the spaciousness, the quiet, the support, the stability, the groundedness, you know, then these things then it's easier to do earth descent. Like, it's a symbiotic relationship, just in the same way that we descend into the earth comes up to meet us. Well, we need to think about how we're carrying those qualities out into the world with us as well. So, you know, how many times do you in your day leave yourself space, you know, or do you fill every single minute? You know, are there times when you say, okay, there's going to be an hour where I'm not going to schedule myself, right? So often we just fill up every single minute from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed, and then we fall into bed exhausted, right? Or we don't leave space, but, you know, we kind of zone out to YouTube videos and that kind of thing, you know, or whatever our thing is, right? However we kind of zone out, but there's not space. So then we never really experience spaciousness in our lives. And then we come to lie down on the earth and open into the earth. And then there's this experience of spaciousness, and all we do is flop up and down because we have no, you know what I mean? We have no way of relating to it, because we never relate to it at all in our lives. We fill everything, right? I mean, this is kind of another way of talking about what we talked about exactly before we started pressing record. It's a different, you know, there's kind of scales of it, but we're all guilty of it, right? Of kind of filling every moment. And so where can I, and this isn't like, to add another thing to your to-do list, but it's like, if we're serious about developing a relationship with the earth, then those qualities that we meet in the earth, we want to see how they can come up and out into our life too, not just how we can come down and in, right? So see how that's kind of an appropriation rather than a meeting. So how can those qualities kind of come up and out into our life as well? How can we experience spaciousness? Where is stillness in our life, right? Am I always running, going one thing to the next? Or is there some stillness in my day, right? When I go out and have a walk and spend time in nature, do I stop and look around and appreciate the stillness? Do I take time and just have some stillness in my day? The nurturing and the nourishing energy that's in the earth that comes up to meet us when we come down into the earth. Do I meet myself with that same energy during the day? How do I nurture and nourish myself? And it doesn't have to be a complete overhaul of your life, but what are the small things that you do for yourself? Do I make myself a cup of tea and take time to drink it, or a nice cool lemonade for Michelle because it's summer for you and we're also envious because it's cold and chilly here. Or taking that time to do slowing down, that just self-care, going back to the niyams, right? Sauch, cleanliness. Do we take time with our self-cleansing routines, just to take a little extra time to take some nice cleansers, to smell them, to put some nice lotions on ourselves, right? Taking that time to nurture and nourish ourselves and in that very mothering energy, because let me tell you, nobody else is going to do it for you. We have to do that for ourselves. So it's not like it has to be overly complicated. It's just that those qualities that we meet in the earth, we can let them overflow into our lives too. That it's not just, okay, there's this hour on the mat, and okay, I'm going to come in and I'm going to open and descend into the earth, and then I'm going to meet those. Well, no, there's 24 other hours of our life too, right? And these qualities can start to come into our life as well. And we can kind of start to bring some awareness to that. So one is that we are training for it. It's not going to happen all right away. And the more we embody the qualities of the earth in our life, I suspect the easier it will be when we open the back of our body, when we lie down, to meet those qualities in the earth too. I kind of have a feeling. That's my hypothesis. So the reason why I brought up Earth Descent today, and I want to go over it, and kind of, the last couple of weeks I've kind of taken a step back to do a review, but it's because we do access Earth Descent through our back body. And, it is, we begin to realize when we do Earth Descent, when we do 10-point practice, that our body and the space between the earth and our body aren't separate. That we're not, the envelope of our skin is actually quite porous, and that our back body opens and our awareness actually does open down, and we can begin to feel the space of the earth underneath us in the same way that we can feel the inside of our body. Our body actually includes the space of the earth underneath us. And when we do that, we do start to feel grounded and rooted. So we don't leave our body behind when we do Earth Descent. We open our back body so that our sense of somatic being just becomes bigger and vaster, and it includes the earth and is rooted in the earth. And when we open our body in this way, we get connected to a much larger sense of self that includes the earth. In this way, it's a lot of times we put so much faith in our ability to think through everything, to get on that hamster wheel and figure everything out in our mind. And this practice really allows us to drop into something much deeper and let go of this little tiny box that we spend all our time in, and open into something that will hold you in a much wider and deeper way. And when you do that, you'll feel a sense of relief and a sense of relaxation, because staying up here in this little tiny brain on that little tiny hamster wheel is a lot of work. And when you go down into the earth, you are being invited to let go of that work. And when you do that, you'll sense that your body is quite happy to let go of the awareness and open into something bigger and much more spacious and much more open. And it's actually quite habitual to be in our minds. So you will go up and down, up and down, up and down. That is normal. That's a very normal part of the process. And so when it happens, just let it happen. Go up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like, if we use that analogy of training for the marathon, it's just a part of the training. I don't really know how to train for a marathon because I've never trained for one, but I imagine if we were running stairs, it's just like running stairs. And then, you run the stairs and then your heart and lungs get stronger, and then it's easier to run a longer distance. Let's say that's the example. So you go up and down, the muscle gets stronger, then it's easier to descend. It's part of the practice. So when the thinking mind comes into it, it's okay. You just let those things go and you keep going down. I just don't want you to think that something's going wrong when that happens. You're actually having a very good practice. It's just part of the practice. So that's really what I wanted to say about it, is that it is a very slow practice. It takes time. It's not something that comes overnight, but it is something that is very worthwhile putting your effort into. Because over time you develop a really strong foundation, so that the capacity, I think probably both Michelle and Marie can speak to the fact that the longer that you do this meditation, the more open you become, the more you open to in your life. And if you don't have that foundation to hold what's happening, it can be kind of overwhelming. So this earth descent gives you that foundation of stability, rootedness, and groundedness, so that you can handle what's coming up in your life. Because the more open you come, the more life comes at you, the more you shed, the more that happens. And that's just part of the way it goes too. The more you're able to handle, the more you become aware of that you would just shut off before. So that's part of it too. And so it's like you practice because you need the practice, and then you need the practice because life keeps presenting you more. It's like kind of is like this reciprocal relationship. So once you're in, you're in. There's no getting out. Anyway, I'll hand it over to you guys now, so you can introduce yourselves and respond in any way you might want to. Hold on one sec, it's getting warm here.
Well, I'm Michelle from Australia. Yeah, really great talk. It can be easy for me at times to feel pressure to do the meditation. So it's always helpful to hear that, you know, it's a practice, basically. It won't be perfect, and it doesn't need to be. And your job, it's just to open to things. And like what you were saying about you building that foundation in Earth Descent to basically go out into the world. It's so true. And the more you do the Earth Descent, I find I just have more openness to the world, but it's in a way that I just have more capacity to be in the world, if that makes sense.
That's a really great way of putting it.
And just being open to connecting with everything, good, bad, ugly, whatever. Not fighting and railing against life, which is so exhausting.
I'm Maria. I'm from Harrison, New Jersey. I have to agree with Michelle. It was a great talk. I mean, it is Earth Descent. Sometimes it's hard to do, but I find that it does leave me more open to my life. I mean, I've changed a lot over the last year due to this meditation. I mean, it's sometimes I'm too much in my head, or it feels like I'm not going anywhere, but it is a practice. I mean, sometimes I feel like I need it more than others, you know, like, I don't know, like sometimes it's hard to come to my mat and do Earth Descent because it just feels so, so raw, that going into the earth. But the more I do it, it just feels like I'm opening up to my life. And I mean, things have been chaotic for me this last year, especially this last few months, but I'm not as anxious about it. I'm more open to my life as it's coming forward. And it's a good thing.
So this is an interesting kind of theme that's coming up across Michelle and Maria that kind of came up this morning as well. I think, if I think I'm reading it right, is the kind of and I totally get it because I get in it too. I totally get in it as well. This kind of desire for a successful practice. And what does a successful practice look like? Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because we can be in the depths of a really kind of crappy period of our life and think our meditation practice is failing us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And want to give up on meditation. And really, actually, our meditation is working just fine. Right? And we can be coming to Earth Descent, like Maria's saying, and feeling all these feelings of like rawness and yuckiness or frustration or irritability or reactivity or, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I can sit in meditation, especially having just gone through a program. And it was very intense. It was very emotional. It was like, I swear to God, especially the first few weeks, it was like having an energetic, emotional lobotomy most weeks. Like my energetic body was just like so rattled and feeling like a complete failure with it, right? Like I'm just like not getting this, you know? Mm-hmm. Especially because the words that were being applied to the meditation was definitely not my experience, right? My experience was just totally, I was just totally triggered all the time, all the time, right? Sitting there waiting for the bell to ring. Please let this be over. Please let this be over, right? Feeling like this is, I'm totally like feeling like if the only way I can describe it would be that, you know, when I was a kid and I go swimming in the ocean and you get caught in the undercurrent, it was like that. It was like coming to the meditation cushion and being caught in the undercurrent, like time after time after time, right? Oh yeah, this meditation is not working for me. I need to do another meditation, right? But actually, guess what? It was working, right? It's because I was in a program, I had to stay with it. I had to keep doing it. I had to stay with it. I had to find a way to make it work because I was in a program. And lo and behold, week 12, would you know, things started to shift and things started to open and soften. And I actually did start to experience some of what was happening. Like there was, like, I would say, you know, if the dial moved, like, you know, maybe a millimeter to the right from the left, things changed, things shifted. So I would say, looking back through that experience of being caught in the tidal wave of the undercurrent, that was actually an incredibly fruitful time in my practice where a lot of growth was happening. So those times where we feel like we're struggling the most and the practice isn't working, oh yeah, that practice is working really, really well, actually. Really well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, lying there thinking, why am I doing this? This is just awful. This sucks. But I stay with it because there's always that little, I don't know what it is, but there's just something there that knows that if I'm staying with it, it will change. That other voice saying it sucks is pretty loud though.
Yeah. Because we know when we stay with it, we know, like you say, there's a part of us that knows that it's not forever. It's that it will shift, it will change. This experience is fluid, it's dynamic. Just like the experiences of, like, oh, when you drop an open and you're in the depths and it's like so beautiful, that doesn't stay forever either, right? You come up and down, and right, that's fluid and dynamic as well. But so are those times that are just so difficult in your practice. Although, you know, of course we want to bask in the light, but both are fluid. And we learn probably more from the more challenging times. And earth descent is a more challenging practice. I will give you that. It is one that universally, I will say universally, because I hear it again and again from all of you, but also in Neil's classes and across the board. It's a practice that people struggle with. But that is why we need to train in it. Well, not just because it's difficult, but because it's the practice that provides you with the capacity to be with all of life, like you said, Michelle. Right? That the more you can open and be in the depths, the more you can meet all of life as it comes at you. The good, bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the challenging. It really opens up your ability to be with all that happens. And it's okay however it goes. It doesn't have to be.
I was just thinking it helps a lot to hear other people's experience with it, and to hear that they're having difficulty opening to the earth or whatever their problem is with it, because oftentimes I'll be practicing meditation or yoga or whatever, and there's a part of me that thinks, oh, I'm not doing this right, or there's a pressure that comes. And so when I hear other people have difficulty, or just hearing about the breadth of experience that's possible, that's very helpful.
Yeah, both are important, right?
Mm.
Yeah, both are important. But this practice is foundational, and until this practice is really, really well established for us as a community, there's no moving on to other practices. It's just not safe.
Yeah, I've tried some other practices, and I do visit them occasionally, but without earth descent, that foundation,
Yeah.
don't go there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, if it seems like I harp on this, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, shall we practice? Whatever happens, happens. It's good. It's a practice. We're just training. It's like running group. We're going out. We'll walk for 5 minutes. We'll run for 5 minutes. We'll walk for 5 minutes. We'll run for 5 minutes. You come up, you go down. You come up, you go down. You'll think, you'll drop the thinking. You'll meet an obstacle, you let it go. That's how it'll go.
As Michelle used to say all the time, we just have to wait and see what happens.
That's right.
Yeah, lie down, see what happens.
That's right. Okay. You guys go ahead and get lying down. I'm going to get myself a glass of water while you do that. Okay, so you're lying down on the earth with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. And this is a very good time to start to open to those qualities of the earth that we talk about at the beginning with our mantra, to feel into the stability of the earth, to sense into the support, to feel the openness, to allow your body to have a sense of ease and relaxation as you lie here. And it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're on the ground outside, whether you're on the first floor, whether you're on a high-rise building, the energy of the earth is always right there for you. And so right now we're very consciously bringing our awareness to it, but this is something that we can do throughout our day as well. And so we're practicing here how to connect with this energy. Your elbows are on the ground. This helps to let your shoulders be more connected with the earth. It also brings your hands to your lower belly for that interior awareness in your lower belly and connection to your major energy center in your body. It also heightens your sense of interior awareness, as does closing your eyes. I like putting an eye pillow on my eyes too. That just furthers that sense of grounding for me, helps to ground my mind as well. Start to sense into tension in your body and see how gravity can start to release the tension, how much you can let go into the earth. And just notice how much support and nourishment you're receiving from the earth right here, letting your body dissolve downwards, letting the tension from your body dissolve downwards. And notice that this is part of the process here, that you're starting to unwind and release and relax. And this process starts happening naturally as soon as you lie down on the ground. So very slowly, very gently, you're going to open your energy into your feet, your lower legs, your ankles, your knees, and open your awareness to tension in this part of your body. Feeling that tension drain down from your knees, through your shins, through your calves, through your ankles, into the earth. Completely relaxing and letting go as you breathe out. So your lower legs, your feet melting, dissolving, all the tension flowing down into the earth. And you may feel other parts of your body letting go, relaxing. And that's completely fine. Then you're going to feel your connection to the earth through your buttocks on either side. And it's quite normal to feel some gripping and holding here. So just release any gripping and holding. Feel that deeper connection with the earth now. And then feel the tension in the butt cheeks, the pelvic girdle, the bones of the pelvis, your hip bones, the hip sockets, the sides of the hips. Feeling the tension, letting the tension go downward into the earth. And then feeling your upper leg from your knees through your hip bones, the upper thighs, the backs of the legs, the inner thighs. All the tension is flowing down through your pelvis, through your buttocks, and into the earth itself. And then coming to your mid-back, feeling tightness in your mid-back. Extending up through your chest, feeling tension around your rib cage, your organ body, your belly, your low back. Let that tension release downward. Let it dissolve. Then feeling your shoulder blades and where they're touching the earth, the tension in the shoulder blades themselves, and then up through the collarbones, the shoulder joints. Letting the tension dissolve down through the shoulder blades and into the earth. And then feel tension in your fingers, the joints of your fingers, the base of your thumbs, your wrists, your forearms. Let that tension flow down through your forearms, through your elbows, into the earth, through your shoulder joints, down through your upper arms, through your elbows, and into the earth. And then finally your head, opening your awareness into your head, feeling tension around your eyes, your forehead, your skull, every follicle of your hair, your occipital ridge at the back, your ears, your lips, your tongue. Letting your entire face just melt and dissolve. All the tension in your face, in your head, your brain, melt and dissolve down into the earth. And then coming back to your 2 feet, your 2 buttocks, your mid back, your shoulder blades, your elbows, and your head. And feeling all these points of contact with the earth. And on your in-breath, breathe into your body. And on your out-breath, let go. So as you breathe in, you're present throughout your entire body. Feeling tension, feeling holding, feeling gripping, feeling tightness. And then as you breathe out, let this tension go. And then you're going to breathe in, feel the tension in your body. And then breathe out, follow that tension as it lets go. You can follow the tension as it goes down into the earth. You can follow your breath as it goes down into the earth. You can follow the pull of gravity as it goes down into the earth. You know, each one of us will have our own way of doing this, whatever feels most intuitively open to you, whatever feels most available to you. Follow that. So you breathe in, feel the tension, breathe out, follow your breath, follow gravity, follow the tension down into the earth. And each time you breathe out, you're going to relax a little bit more fully. So your back body opens up and you drop and open, feeling the tension in your body, breathing out, opening your awareness down with your breath, with the tension, with gravity a little bit further into the earth. And each time you breathe out and let go, you release a little bit further. Your body relaxes a little bit more. Your body opens a little bit more. And each time you breathe out, your body relaxes and opens a little bit more. Now, as you release tension, as you breathe out, as your body opens, start to sense somatically the space of the earth underneath you. So the same way that you feel your body from the inside when you do 10 points, start to let yourself feel into the space of the earth underneath you. And stay with the felt sense of it. Stay with the feeling of it. Feel the sensations of the earth underneath you. So does it feel warm? Maybe it feels soft and velvety. Maybe it feels inviting. Maybe it feels open. Maybe it feels dark. Maybe it feels vast. Maybe it feels spacious. Maybe there's a kind of longing to open to this space. Maybe there's a sense of depth to it. Maybe you notice your body relaxes more as you open to it. Maybe you notice the sinking quality. Just notice what it feels like for you, and for each one of us it'll be a little different. Just notice what it feels like. So let your breath lead you down, let tension lead you down, let gravity lead you down. And when you breathe out, let your awareness stay in the earth underneath you and let it continue to drop and open. So on the in-breath, you breathe in, and each time you breathe out, you're going to drop and open a little bit more. So you're opening your awareness downward, and anytime you feel like you come up against a kind of boundary or an obstacle, or you float back up to the surface, so you start thinking, you just let it go, or you feel into the sense of boundary or where you can't go in any further. You let go through it, and you keep dropping and opening each time you breathe out. So you're still in your body, but it's your felt sense of your somatic field, your ability to feel your body from the inside, that's opening and dropping and becoming bigger and vaster, so that your capacity to be with your experience is expanding, as Michelle said at the beginning. So there's a sense that the space of your body is opening to the earth underneath you. And it's a very gentle opening down and out. So you're in your body, and your awareness goes down and open and open. And really what you discover is the same as when you do 10 points practice and you open your awareness into your toe, and your toe starts to present sensations to you, tension and an unraveling of tension. Same thing when you open to the earth, you discover that your awareness is already there. So you keep opening and dropping, your awareness is already there. You open and drop, your awareness is already there. You keep going, falling deeper and deeper and deeper, letting go, surrendering. This is not something that you do. It's a letting go. And feel the relief that happens as you do this. So when we're on the surface trying to figure everything out, trying to make everything happen in our lives, it's too much work. It's so much work. And when we drop down into the earth, we're letting go of all the ways we try and control our lives, try and make everything happen. And our body wants to open to this awareness that is much bigger, much more open, much more vast, this spacious awareness of the earth. The more you open your awareness into the earth, the more you'll feel at home, the more capacity you'll have to deal with all the surface level shit that we deal with on the top of in our lives. So we're way, 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 way down in the earth now. Or maybe we're going up and down. Maybe we're sitting on the surface. Wherever we are, you just keep breathing out, dropping, letting yourself descend further and further. Keep opening, keep letting go. Keep falling. Notice how your awareness is getting bigger and bigger. And it's normal to feel confused. It's normal to feel like you're bouncing around. It's in our day-to-day lives, we don't normally spend time in this much space. So your practice here, we're developing the ability to stabilize. So that's what we're practicing with here. It's shamatha. This is our shamatha here, to stay present, to stay in the earth, to keep dropping and opening, so that our capacity to go deeper and more open, to our capacity to go wider and deeper, is going to increase the more we practice. So we're not leaving our body on the surface behind. We're developing the capacity to open the awareness of our body to deeper and deeper levels. And the more we practice, the more we will be able to open our awareness of our body to deeper and deeper levels. So we've dissolved the boundary of the backside of our body on the surface, and we're opening the capacity to experience the full measure and the full depth of Earth itself. And this will take time. This will take time. But when we place our attention, when we practice, when we place our attention, when we stay present, when our shamatha is engaged and stays in the earth, and we keep asking ourselves to drop and open, and when we keep descending our awareness, when our shamatha, when our attention stays on dropping and opening, we're developing the capacity to be with deeper and deeper, vaster and vaster levels of awareness. So keep dropping and sinking. Sometimes it helps to visualize things like going down in an elevator or being like a snowflake falling from the sky. Sometimes people like to imagine sinking down like a deep sea diver in water. Each time you come into a boundary, you're just going to fall through it. And then you notice where you stop descending, and you open and you fall further. So keep surrendering, keep letting go. When you do this practice, there are often feelings of tenderness, soreness, excitement in your heart, a kind of longing. Your body, your heart will start to feel more and more open. And this is normal. You're opening your whole body, your whole state of being to deeper and deeper levels. And just keep feeling into your body. Keep feeling into the depth of the earth. Keep letting the depth of the earth touch your open body. So continue to be in contact with the earth as your awareness continues to descend downward. And keep inviting your body to relax to deeper levels. Let your back body relax. The deeper you are in the earth, the more relaxed your body can be. And every time you start to retract, it's okay. It's a normal reaction. It's a normal impulse. You can invite your body to open again. Every time you start to pull upwards, again, you can relax your body, let go of tension, open downward again. Keep staying connected to the felt sense of the space underneath you as well. Notice how it feels in your body and in your heart as you continue to descend deeper and deeper. Maybe the space underneath you feels warm, kind of soft, velvety, maybe inviting, nourishing, nurturing. You know, it has a very somatic feeling, maybe a very tender feeling. It can touch you quite deeply. You can notice that there's a real longing to connect with this space, that you don't want to depart. And the space feels quite welcoming, so soft, like being wrapped in a warm blanket. And it can feel very tender, almost emotional in our hearts. So see if you can fall into this space very completely and allow yourself to just be in the depths of the earth underneath you. Letting go, letting your body completely relax into this space. And see if you feel held, if you feel a sense of well-being. Maybe you feel something that feels both mysterious yet familiar. Maybe the space feels healing. Maybe you feel like you just want to stay in this space. Maybe the space feels timeless to you, like there's no beginning or end to it. So keep softening, keep letting go, keep opening deeper and deeper and deeper. And then open the back of your body more fully so that the warmth of the earth, the healing energy of the earth can flood your back body fully. So imagine that you're opening your skin, you're opening your muscles, you're opening your back, you're opening your deep tissues, your organs, your heart, your bones, every cell of your body, so that this nurturing energy, the warmth, the healing energy of the earth can flood every cell of your body, and let your body be flooded by the healing energy of the earth. Let this warm, healing, nurturing, nourishing energy flood your body, especially any parts of your body that feel traumatized, that feel damaged, that feel like they need the extra attention, especially your mind, your mental body, especially areas of your psyche and your emotions. Just let this healing balm of the earth bathe you and soothe you and heal you. Let it come up and wrap all of the parts of your life that need healing, soothing, and bathing. Any problems in your life that feel out of control, that feel unsolvable, let that healing balm of the earth come up and wrap those problems with their healing energy. So in a moment, we're going to come up and back to our circle. We're going to come to sit together. But this energy is always here for you. You're always connected with it. And so we can very intentionally carry this warmth, this healing, this nurturing, this nourishing energy with us as we come out of our earth descent practice. And so we can carry that intention now with us as we take our time to make our way back to each other, first here in our circle, to bring that nurturing, nourishing, healing, warm, loving energy with us. But also that even as we go out into the rest of our day, the rest of our evenings, that we can bring that energy with us into our evenings, to our sleep tonight, to the rest of our day, to the rest of our week. That it's not something that we've just done now and then we're going to disconnect from, but that we're going to carry it with us, that that's our intention. So that we're not compartmentalizing our life, but that we're carrying it off our meditation cushion. We're keeping this connection. And then we'll be open to ways that we can bring healing to ourselves, we can bring nourishment to ourselves, we can bring nurturing, we can bring that warmth, that stability, that softness. We'll feel that connection and we'll remember that we're not separate. And these qualities will come into our day as well. So when you're ready, you can start to make your way back to each other here. Does it feel like there just needs to be space to be with the experience? Okay. So take some time. There's a real tenderness that can open from this practice. And it can be tempting to rush headlong back into our lives and harden over that again as a way to cover over what we've just opened to. And when there's a big opening like this, it's, I think, best actually to be with the experience and to give space to the experience. And that might just mean going and lying down on the couch or lying down on the bed and just being quietly with it. But just some stillness, some quiet, some openness, but not rushing headlong into TV or into relating with other people or being with other people or doing something else. Maybe just lying down quietly by yourself for about half an hour and letting the experience settle. So it doesn't feel quite so open, tender, raw, and vulnerable before you go on with the rest of your day. And those of you that are going to bed, that's kind of a more natural transition anyway. I know sometimes for me when it feels, really open and tender and raw and kind of vulnerable, it can take it's not unusual for it to take several hours to process. So honor your experience and try not to go into the knee-jerk reaction to cover it over, however your knee-jerk reaction usually looks like, whether it be going to social or watching YouTube videos or TV or eating or whatever it usually is to cover up the felt sensation, but to just give yourself space to be with the embodied experience of it. Okay, so thank you for your practice. I appreciate the depth of your and sincerity of your practice. Namaste. I'll see you later this week for live practices if it works with your schedules with your families. If not, there'll be recordings. Bye.